employee-dependent businesses, lack of trust for employees, and never taking the time to systematize. So many things to get to this morning, and excited to be back with you. Happy Friday, friends. Hope it has been a great week. Thomas Joyner here with Business on Purpose. So we do a business owner lunch about once a quarter or so with businesses that we really have zero connection to. And it's so much fun as there's really no expectation other than to just invest back into some of the new businesses that are around and just make some new connections. So yesterday, I sat down with about 8 local business owners who I'm just huge fans of. And we began to talk about delegation, the goods, the bads, the uglies, everything associated with it. And it was powerful as they really left with some practical ways to own delegation in their businesses. And they left with multiple tasks to systematize and train on after they choose to delegate. So we're moving right on through this thing, right? We've got lunch, we've got everything, we're rolling right on through until we kind of hit this roadblock. One of the owners brought up the frustration of feeling like there were several things that he just couldn't delegate. What do you mean by that? I kind of asked him just to get a little more insight into what he was talking about. And he said, well, estimating is probably 80% of my job. There's just so many variables, of pricing, and we need this, and so many things you have to know and things I can't really train on to get all of this off my plate. And so I agreed with him for a minute, but then I kind of turned the tables back on him and asked this question. And I said, so what happens if something happens to you? You see, that's what we have to think about, right? When we are the business, we're severely limiting the ceiling we can achieve, severely holding back our business from reaching its true potential. But what happens if something happens to us and we can't estimate for 2 weeks, a month, 6 months? Does the business just stop estimating? Does it just operate at a subpar level for weeks and months potentially? Especially in times of COVID. We got to think these things through. The challenge, I said, is to get people to buy into your system, not just buy into you. Salespeople, and I'm one of them, trust me, salespeople want to sell themselves first and foremost because oftentimes they view sales as someone not buying what I'm selling, but they're buying me. And while that probably sells a ton at first, you're basically selling your time. And at that, you can just become incredibly vulnerable as a business. But when you can create a system that people are buying into, a customer experience that is a competitive advantage, then people aren't coming to you for you. They're coming to you for your system. In turn, what does that do? It sets others up to help carry the load of estimating, bidding, coaching, whatever other complicated operations you may have in a way that makes your business so much less vulnerable and operates so much smoother. It's no different from when I started here at Business on Purpose. Scott had been the face of this business for years, 7 years almost. When you called for business coaching, who did you want? You wanted Scott. And Scott is amazing. Please hear me say that. What he has built here has been life-changing for so many businesses. But think about this. There aren't a ton, think about this. There are so many variables in our business. We coach businesses all across the country and world in every different industry. In a time of pandemic, I might add, and there's problem solving that goes into every single coaching session, every coaching meeting. It's a training nightmare, getting me up to speed and new coaches up to speed. But here's the thing that Scott saw a while back. He doesn't need to train me on 5,000 different problem-solving aspects and variables. He just needs to train me on our system. So he put the time in to create a system that works industry-wide and then pushed me to get laser-focused on learning and implementing our system. And the verbiage changes, right? No longer is it, hey, come to me for coaching and we'll get you straightened out. It's, hey, we have got to get you in our roadmap to get you moving the right direction. I hope you caught that subtle difference. Instead of you buying Scott or buying whoever the face of the business is, now people are subscribing to the system. They're subscribing to what we have to offer, not just us. You see, the beauty and the power and the secret sauce, if you will, should be your system. That's what unlocks almost unlimited growth. And so now it almost doesn't matter who the coach is. The system is intact, and the coach walks you through our system. So here's the challenge for you. I get it. It's a challenge. How do you build that system where you currently are? It doesn't just happen. But if you want your business to be able to thrive, if something happens to you, for your employees to be able to run without wondering if they're doing the right things, if you want to rip the lid off your potential and allow for huge amounts of growth, perfect your system. Or at least get started, right? Yesterday, we didn't spend all this time about talking about the perfect system. No, we talked about just getting started. Because the perfectionist in us wants to say that if we don't get it perfected quickly, then it's not worth doing. But no, Scott took 6-7 years building this system, and it's still changing today as we're adding new team members and we get fresh eyes on things as we learn and re-implement. And it's so fun watching our team recreate a system that was already amazing. But we wouldn't be where we are today had he not written it down and started creating it. Don't let it scare you, but also don't believe the lie that you can't get things off of your plate. It's just not true. So, hey, if you haven't already subscribed to our podcast or our YouTube channel, check it out. My Business on Purpose on both platforms. There's great content coming out weekly. We're excited for you to come and join us there. So get started writing down your processes, delegating that stuff, and not being employee or business owner dependent. Thanks, guys. Have a great week.